Let's take a look at Cardano ADA. This is the daily chart for Cardano, and the data I have is to 5:40 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on November the 29th. After it broke out of consolidations around the beginning of this year, Cardano has very much went on this very nice run, following this upward channel. Along the way, established an all-time high at 246, retraced, consolidate, bounce up again, and then establish another all-time high at 309. Then proceeded to retrace, consolidate, and right at this point, which is near the end of October, it attempted to reverse direction and run up, but got rejected at $2.40. And after that, very much went on this free fall. And on the 23rd, there was a very bad news regarding to one of a major European crypto exchange, Etoro. Etoro will be limiting ADA and Tron for users in the US. These US users will no longer be able to open new positions in or receive staking rewards for Cardano and Tron. US users will not be able to open new ADA or Tron positions starting on December 26. Additionally, staking for those assets will end on December 31st, 2021. These changes are due to business-related considerations in the evolving regulatory environment. So Etoro decided to delist Cardano due to US regulatory concern. And this is a very bad news for Cardano because Etoro has about 20 million users. Let's say 20% of those users are US based. So we're looking at 400,000. Assuming 10% has Cardano, then we're looking at about 40,000 accounts which will be impacted by this negative news. Now the biggest question is, in terms of the legal problem, is that a Cardano's legal problem? Or is that specifically limited to Etoro? Etoro being a European crypto exchange, they may not have complied with all of the legal requirements in order to carry Cardano for US users. If that is the case, then this problem is only limited to the roughly 40,000 US account that carry Cardano. So we will still see this sort of negative impact on the price, but it would be limited. However, if the legal problem is specific to Cardano, then the impact on the price would be even more severe. Then we are looking at the possibility for the price to remain depressed for a long time until the legal issue is resolved. So Cardano price is likely under pressure for a while. Let's take a look at the 4-hour charts. Let's see if we can decipher what Cardano would likely do in the short term. After retrace to about $1, bounce up, went on this really nice bull run. Ran all the way to about 296, established this all-time high. Retrace, found support at this prior all-time high at 246. Bounce up, retested this, retrace, gather in the momentum, run up, establish another all-time high at 309. Then retrace, briefly drop all the way down to about $2. Found support, reverse direction, ran up, but the minute it hit 279, it got rejected. Getting rejected at 279 formed this bearish head and shoulder pattern. This is the left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Then the price broke down. Cardano briefly finds support at $2. Reverse direction, try to run up, but then get rejected right at this prior all-time high at 246. So now 246 became a very strong resistance for Cardano. And since then, Cardano very much been traded sideways. Vary between 201 all the way to 236, but never able to cross over and retest this prior high at 246 again. Why? Because there was no volume. Volume pretty much disappeared after the formation of this head and shoulder pattern. Then after that, the price broke down and dropped below 201. Found support right at around $1.85. reverse direction. At this point, Cardano was attempting to break out and run up, but the minute it tested 236, it get rejected. And after that, we see this sort of like free fall continue to break down, drop below 201, and then at 185, and then drop below $1.60, even below $1.50, which is the prior low. So Cardano was creating all this higher low and lower low, connecting all this higher low, and just extend it to cover the lower low. Cardano is definitely quote-unquote free falling within this very steep downward channel. So this is what we are looking at. As long as the price is still stay within this downward channel, which that's what it is. Right now it is trading at $1.57. Until Cardano can make some sort of effort to break outside of the resistance of this downward channel, there is still that possibility that the price continue to follow this pattern and trend lower. The next support level would be right at $1.55. Breakdown, we're looking at $1.46 and then $1.25, and then could be as low as $1. If Cardano can mount some sort of buying support and bounce up, the key is it has to stay outside of the resistance of this downward channel. The first major resistance level would be right at the 10 days moving average, and that is at $1.68. Close over $1.60 and stabilize over that. Then we can potentially get out of this very bearish looking chart. The next resistance, $1.85. Then the 50 days moving average, that's around $2. And 236, 246, 279, 296, and then the all-time high at 309. So with the price being low right now, which is right at around $1.57, there is that temptations of buying and wait for the price bounce up and make some quick bucks. But for me, I'm pretty much staying out of a quick trade for Cardano right now, given the fact it is still in this downward channel and still trading below this 10 days moving average. So the risk is very high, and I am not sure about the reward, given the fact that the legal problem is still clouded the whole thing. Until we get some sort of clarifications, I just don't see Cardano as being a good quick trade right now. Looking at Cardano on this daily chart, definitely the chart is not looking good. Cardano was trending up following this upward channel, and when it retested the support, it bounced right back up and then began the process for this new bull run that eventually took it to an all-time high at 309. Now Cardano seemed to break down and it is trading below the support of this upward channel. Second thing, if we observe, is as part of this retracement, the 10-day drop below the 50 days. The price continued to retrace, but after that, Cardano reversed direction and the 10 days reversed direction and crossed over the 50 days. The 50 days reversed direction and moved away from the 200 days, and that prevented that death cross. What we have right now is, at this point, the 10-day drop below the 50 days. And now, the 10-day continued to trend lower, and the gap between the 10-day and the 50-day is getting wider. Worse than that, the 50-day is trending down and looks like it is about to cross over and drop below the 200 days. That would be the death cross. And if Cardano continue to trade sideways or trend lower, it's likely that we would see this death cross within the next few days. That is definitely not a good sign. So in the near term, I don't expect to see a major spike up in Cardano. It's very likely that Cardano would likely trade sideways, but could potentially trend lower. The stochastic oscillator is showing that Cardano is in this way oversold. So we could see a small bounce up, but I'm not really sure the minute it tests the 10 days, it has enough buying support. And when we look at the volume is very low. So it may not be able to cross over. And even if it can cross over the 10 days temporarily, I don't think it could potentially cross over the 50 days because Cardano is still facing a lot of selling pressure from the potential 40,000 accounts with Etoro that would likely take advantage of a spike up in price and close out their positions. Cardano has to be able to trade above this 10 days. So the key price for us to observe is right at around $1.80. Cardano need to trade at or over and stabilize over $1.80. Then there could be a potential for it to move up. But until then, the possibility for the price to retrace even more is definitely there. One other thing that we need to keep in mind, especially for long-term holder, Cardano is a great project. Right now, there is that uncertainty about the legal issue. The minute it is resolved, or the minute we have some sort of clarifications, there is a very good possibility that we could see a major spike up in price. So that is what I'm betting for, because I still love Cardano and I am still holding my Cardano right now. That's it for this video, and don't forget to click that like button and reward me with a like if you appreciate the content that I'm presenting. Also, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button and subscribe, and make sure you turn notification on. And if you have Twitter, make sure you follow me at VietMaxim, because I provide constant update on all of our favorite cryptos.